What's going on? It's your boy Aristotle Investments. We back with another episode of Out the Mud.
The person that can find out the safest and the fastest way to solve a problem, that gauges how intellectual you are. Just like you want to get to know your woman, you want to know who her family is and what you're getting yourself into before you marry her and create a baby. It should be the same thing we do to our foods. I'm not a vegan, I'm plant-based. I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, none of that, but I'm not a vegan. Anti means against, bio means life. So antibiotic means what? Against life. So you would catch a so-called disease or a bacterial infection, then you would take these antibiotics and then they kill your biology. I'm going to trick you into believing there's a disease, and then I'm going to give you the real deadly potion, which is my pharmaceutical medicine, and you're going to pay for it until you die. Then once you die, I'm still going to make money off your death. It's a trick. When all you got to do is eat right and get back to your godlike self. Just because you ain't smoking a crack pipe don't mean we not addicts. Them are drugs they put us on. Ultra processed food is a drug.
So, what's your name, brother?
Dr. Yahki Raphael Elohim. Everybody call me Yahki Awaken though. So everybody call me Yahki, but my real name is Yahki.
Okay, Yahki. So you're a doctor.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me about that. Like, certified doctor.
Yeah, certified PhD, biochemist, in school right now for human biologist, master herbalist. So many different certifications on every level when it comes to the healing space. I got 2 clinics in St. Louis, Missouri. We sell a bunch of products out of there. We offer a bunch of services, hyperbaric chamber therapy. We do things like oxygen therapy. I mean, anything you can think of, we do inside of our clinics. And then I got a fully accredited laboratory in Houston, Texas, where we do blood analysis, comprehensive metabolic panels, genetic testing, STD screening, anything, renal testing, anything you think about.
And this clinic, you had to get certifications to run?
Oh yeah, of course. You can't run around and be throwing the word doctor out there and you don't have no type of certifications, or be in there doing any type of therapies without certification. So all of the things that we do inside of the clinic, we have certifications for. So say if you come and you book a hyperbaric session at my clinic and you need to get some oxygen because you're suffering from hypoxia, which means that your cells are lacking oxygen. You'll go once you book, you'll come in. Once you go into the hyperbaric room, you're gonna see a bunch of plaques on the wall, and it's all the certification that I got taking the schooling to distribute oxygen to your actual cells. So yeah.
So if somebody wants to do what you do have to have a degree, and you do
you have to have a doctorate. Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool. So you went into healing prior to getting your, or you went
so what happened
and then got it?
No, what happened was at the age of 21, I suffered from a heart attack. In the streets, heavy in the streets. I mean, everybody see the tattoos on my arms, my face. So rapping, doing what every rapper do, doing drugs, smoking, drinking, touring, you know what I'm saying? Just never getting no sleep, and then being in the streets, selling dope, doing all the stuff that the environment is set up for us to do in our communities. I was doing those things. At the age of 21, I had a heart attack. When I had the heart attack, before that, what led up to the heart attack was high blood pressure. I had diabetes, scar tissue on my heart. My liver wasn't functioning, and my kidneys were slightly failing. You know what I'm saying? I used to have these little light patches called vertigo on my skin, toenail fungus. I was pretty messed up. But I was taking medicine for it. And the medicine I was taking, I couldn't get an erection. My eyes used to be blurry all the time. I mean, it was really jacking me up, you know what I'm saying? So at the age of 21, I ended up having a heart attack. After I had my heart attack, I ended up going home, and I was just depressed, sad, threw all my dope away, threw out my weed, I threw everything away. And I said, it gotta be a better answer and a better way to living. This ain't my life, and I just didn't accept it. I'm the type of brother, I don't accept nothing. You telling me, if you tell me don't, I'm gonna do. They told me I was gonna die, I wasn't gonna have a long life expectancy, so I betted on it. I always betted on myself. So what I did was I went home, I threw away everything I had, and then I kicked over the medicine and threw that away, and I got on YouTube. And when I got on YouTube, I just started typing in natural way to cure heart disease, natural way to cure bad libido, natural way to do this and do that. And a white man popped up on the television, and you know, I couldn't really vibe with the Caucasian because I wasn't in synergy with him. But on YouTube at that time, something called a suggestion that just came out, and that's when after a video go off, another video pop up talking about a similar type of situation. And Dr. Sebi popped up, and he was talking about out here sickle cell anemia, leukemia, diabetes, AIDS, and HIV, and whoopty wop wop. So I'm listening to him. I'm like, man, this brother probably lying, because you know me being programmed by the dogma that they push on us through school and that you just hear on the media. Period. I'm thinking, you know, HIV can't be healed, cancer can't be healed. You know, you can go into remission. But the more and more I started listening to the brother, because I always been scientific. I wouldn't, you know, I was in school. I used to go in the front of the school, leave out the back. But one thing I had an A in is in math, science, and biochemistry, biology. I always had A's in those. So, you know, once I started.
So you didn't grow up stupid. You were smart in high school.
Yeah, I mean, according to them, I'm a genius, a real genius. You
so
know,
you
my
actually
children,
had
my children
grades,
are too.
Great,
yeah. If you
SAT and ACT.
man, what's crazy? If you look at my attendance in school and my average my GPA average, and it was crazy. People was thinking somebody else was either taking the test or doing the homework for me, but it was really me. Now, it was at a point though when I got heavy in the streets, I just stopped doing it. I ended up leaving school and doing all types of stuff. But this just goes to show you that, you know, your smartness and intellect, I think it's got to be a gene thing, because my whole family is very bright. We full of it. I mean, we use the stuff for bad, you know, selling drugs, but we sold the best drugs, you know, best warriors.
That intellect can be what's the word?
Passed
Hereditary.
down? Oh yeah, I mean, because if you think about what makes intellect, so if you want to base something off of something that's intellectual, who's smart or not, it's about problem solving. That's what makes you an intellectual. Can you solve problems? Can you meet the needs of a people? The person that can find out the safest and the fastest way to solve a problem, that gauges how intellectual you are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want to gauge intellect off of mathematics or off of academics, but that's not even how the Europeans really gauge intellect. Can you solve problems? If you see a problem, can you invent something to fix that problem? That's intellect. And my whole family always been that way, always, with everything in our lives. And I just was that way. But you know, when you grow up in an environment and people put things in an environment to push and will your personality and perception for they can benefit off of, even though that you have intellectual properties, even though that you are smart, you're going to use them to do bad things. You know what I'm saying? And that's all my family did. So even though I got a family full of killers, drug dealers, or whatever you want to say, we did it to survive, but we found out the smartest ways and means to know how to do it, which that's intellect at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no difference between somebody going to school and getting a degree and getting 100% on all of their tests and somebody that can't get into school because they piss poor broke but figure out a way to rob the bank and take the bank for everything they have and never get caught. It's still problem solving. It's all about your intentions and what you're doing with the knowledge, though.
Have you always wanted to invest in stocks, learn the stock market, interested in trading to earn another stream of income? Let's just say the average person in America makes $20 an hour. That's only $160 after an 8-hour shift. With my best-selling option trading beginners course, 6-step process to being a profitable trader, free books, and you even get to watch videos of me teaching celebrities like DC Young Fly from scratch. I can cut your time to make $200 plus in a day in just 1 to 2 hours. Don't believe me? Check out these gangs of accounts from different people that I help flip their accounts 100%. Yes, that means double the money in their accounts. For only $35, you get the best beginners course, 1 week access to my world famous trading signals. I have an 85% win rate already this year. 30 plus hours of additional training, a library of free books, a free beginners Q&A session with you at the end of the week via Zoom link. And I meet up with my community at all the major cities in America annually. You're basically in free because the return on investment I'll give you for only $35, just $5 a day, will 10x. Think about it. If the world shuts down again like the 2020 pandemic, how will you survive if your job decides to lay you off? All of these robots are taking our jobs, but they can't take the stock market. This stream of income could be earned while at home, no boss, and no behind kissing. Tap in. Link in the description, or I'll pin the link in the comments. Keep watching. And the reason I asked those questions were because a lot of times I like to know the origin story, because that will tell me, okay, he was smart in high school. You know what I'm saying? He, you know, got into, you know, the streets and this and that. Heart attack. Then, you get to watching Dr. Sebi on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then when did you start to get inspired and was like, okay, you know, I like what he's talking about. I would like to dabble into
The
this
same
space.
time, after I kicked over that medicine and threw everything away, and Dr. Sebi came up, I didn't believe him. But it was something that was pulling on my spirit though, So even though I was like, man, this Negro lying, his words really resonated with my frequency. It was like a resonant connection there. So, I started probably about like 8 p.m. I didn't stop watching him till 2 days later. I didn't go to sleep. I was 48 hours stuck to my couch. About time I got done watching him, remember, I like knowledge. I had notebooks full. I knew who his wife was, his children was. I knew the fig tree was in New York. I knew the different clinics where he had set up. I knew that he was stationed in Honduras. I had a whole profile on him. So I ended up tracking down his wife. And I'm like, look, this is what I got going on. I need healed. And the prices she was talking about, I couldn't agree with at that time. So I'm like, well, look, just give me the name of some certain herbs. So she gave me the name of 3 herbs. I remember it was burdock root, it was kalawala, and it was yellow dock. And what I did was I started studying on them. From me studying on them, it just opened my whole perception and mind up. My consciousness expanded, and I was like, I want to study herbs. So I started studying
Can you tell
herbs.
me, exactly, because I have those 3 herbs as well.
Yeah, so burdock root is a blood cleanser. It purifies the blood and it's full of iron phosphate, meaning that it actually brings more hemoglobin, what you would call carbon hemoglobin into the cells. And what hemoglobin is in the cells to do is to bond onto iron, and iron bonds onto oxygen O2. So whenever you get a plant that has a bunch of what you would call iron phosphate in it, it's good for the hemoglobin because it attached to it. Once iron phosphate and hemoglobin attaches together, this become like a bicane disc, what you'll call a erythrocyte cell, or what you call a red blood cells. And it's a dip in the middle of that blood cell, and it's literally made to pull in oxygen. So burdock root is a blood purifier. It cleanses the blood and it brings the blood oxygen, which means it keep you away from a state of hypoxia. If you look at any academic books, if you look at any textbooks, all death and hypoxia is when the brain can no longer receive oxygen. Whether you get into a car accident, whether you have blunt force trauma, whether you get shot, whether you suffocate, all death ends with the brain not receiving oxygen by way of the bloodstream. So burdock root, it basically gives the body more oxygen, and in a lack of science sense, right? When you get to yellow dock is a binder, meaning that yellow dock usually is a neutralizer. It's a gauge between 2 herbs. So for instance, kalawala and burdock. Kalawala is good for the skin. It cleanses the liver. It cleanses the mucosa membrane, and it cleanses and it flushes out what you will call the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is the sewage system of the body. So when you look at the body is made of 3 components. It's made of the body is made of 150 trillion cells when you talk about black biology. When you get into Caucasians, they about 53 trillion cells, so we got more cells than them. But the cells have to eat. So what feeds the cells is the blood system. That's what feeds the cells all its nutrients. It feeds it macronutrients, micronutrients. It feeds it amino acids, carboxylic acid, just all the things you need to build up your physical structure, right? Then you have something called the nervous system, which communicates with the cells. It tells the cells what to do inside the human anatomy. Then last but not least, you have something called the lymphatic system, which is what we was talking about, what kalawala do, which is cleanses the system. The lymphatic system is like the sewage system of the body. So if you eat and you chew your food properly and you break these foods down, they go throughout your system, and your cells eat these little micronutrients that you got from chewing and digesting your food. Well, since your cells eat, that means they have to defecate or they have to poop. Right. Well, the cells don't have toilets, or they don't have legs to get up to go to the bathroom and flush that poop down the toilet. So what the cells does is it poop on top of itself. It creates something called metabolic waste. There's no metabolic waste that's not acidic. It's where you get lactic acid from, carbonic acid, uric acid. All these things are byproduct from you breathing, you eating, and you going throughout your everyday life. Well, the responsibility of the lymphatic system is to flow throughout the system and pick up all of them toxins or metabolic waste off the cells and take it to the kidneys where you can process it out and urinate it out in the toilet. So what kalawala does, kalawala help assist in that flushing or that detoxification process when it comes to the lymphatic system. That's what kalawala do. So burdock root cleanses the blood, brings the body oxygen, keep you from hypoxia or keep you from suffocating. All right. When you get into yellow dock is full of iron and full of calcium and zinc as well, which is good for all of the organs. It's good for the endocrine system, but it's a binder. It makes 2 herbs work together. And then kalawala flushes out the mucosa membrane and cleanses the lymphatic system.
Okay. So you broke those down pretty decent. The yellow dog, the Colorado, and
The burdock.
the burdock, right? Okay, cool. So talk to me about any other herbs you would like people to know about.
My favorite herbs is my favorite herbs would be red clover, flower buds, and cleaver's leaf. And the reason why is because red clover is the ultimate blood cleanser. Not only does it cleanse the blood because the life is in the blood. You know, I'm into microbiology. We have $100,000 microscopes in my laboratory where you come to the clinic and I will draw your blood, or I prick your finger and get blood out of your blood capillaries, and I'll put it on a slide and put it under the microscope, and I can see what's going on with your blood and your cells. I can see parasites moving around in your blood and your cells. We even see parasites inside the erythrocytes eating all your iron, your vitamin B12, your vitamin B17, literally eating the nutrients out of the cells. You see what I'm saying? The beautiful thing about red clover not only cleanses the blood, but it cleanses all the interstitium fluid inside the body. And you have three major fluids inside the body, which is the mucosal membrane. You have the lipid base, or what they call the cholesterol base, which you need cholesterol. That's a big myth that cholesterol kills you. No, it don't. That's a $13 trillion industry right now, off of statin drugs and all of that. Cholesterol, you need it, but we can talk about that later. And then you got the blood and you got the lymph. And literally the red, when you get into red clover, not the leaf, but the flower, the top, cleanses all of those things. And then cleaver's leaf is just a powerful astringent herb. It just have the capability of pulling metal, microplastics, forever chemicals. It pulls it out of the cells. Now once you pull it out of the cells, you got to get it somewhere, because then it enters back into the bloodstream and that can kill you. So them are my two favorite herbs, would be red clover, flower tops, and cleaver's leaf.
Okay. And do you so what part of Dr. Sebi's legacy do you still carry on?
Man, that's amazing. Nobody ever asked me that question out of the 100 interviews I ever done. I would say, because it's not the information. The information have been updated. Half the stuff that he taught, I really necessarily don't believe in no more, because I went to school. I have my own labs. We got our own PRC machines. We put things on petri dishes. I'm actually dissecting cells and I'm watching blood. So we testing things. So it's a lot of things that he said was acidic that's not acidic, you know, in my book, and from the testing and the experiments I've done.
Could you name some stuff?
So like for instance, he said that broccoli. He said broccoli was acidic, and broccoli is not. Broccoli is actually alkaline forming. He said broccoli was a GMO. Broccoli is not a GMO. Broccoli is hybrid. He did say broccoli was hybrided though. But most of the foods that we eat today is hybrided food, you know. And then we under the assumption that all of these hybrided foods was created by the white man. But when you really dive deep into the history and you get into food molecular science, really studying the food and the history of the food, it was Negroes creating hybrids to better suit their needs in the community. You know what I'm saying? So we've been hybriding shit for thousands of years. Not Caucasians, niggas. You know what I'm saying?
So like I heard the carrot was a hybrid.
Carrot is definitely a hybrid. If you look at the carrot, the carrot actually used to be a root. Now the carrot is still a root, but it's grown in a certain way where you can actually eat it for nutrition. Carrots was not eaten by humans back then. So carrot is definitely a hybrid. You see the ancient, more organic carrots is purple in its form, and you will see a lot of the Native American Indians or the Aboriginal Indians, which is such as myself. I'm not from Africa. I'm actually from the Americas. Most of my ancestors, we did carrots that way, but it still is a hybrid. Nobody on this planet right now, well, I'm gonna say this, nobody in the Western Hemisphere have had a original watermelon. Old watermelon, you couldn't even eat them. So in ancient Roman times, they actually found out how to hybrid it to get more of the flesh inside of it and less of the seeds and less of this hard cartilage that was in it to eat it. So even if you Google a original watermelon from today's watermelon, all watermelons in the Western Hemisphere or what you would call hybrid. I mean, there's all bananas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to talk about the burro banana and the baby banana. Even those are subspecies hybrided foods. So the original food that the creator have put here on planet Earth have been hybrided. There's over what they say is over 2,000 different varieties of apples now just in America. Not even speaking about worldwide. Who have really had a original apple? They hybrided them because a bunch of blight disease was coming all across the world and it was harming the apples. So they had to make the apples disease resistant. So they started select breeding it with other different apples and species to create a hybrid species for you can have food. We've been hybriding food since the beginning of time. So
you're basically saying these hybrid foods within the grocery store are actually still good for you and have nutritional value.
I'm not saying that at all. See, I got
Okay.
my own farm. We farming on 10 acres. I grow my own food and we eat our own food. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie like I eat 100% of my own food, but 43% is a lot for a black man. So 40% of our own food we grow and we eat. So I have a different outlook when it comes to food. I'm not a grocery store type of dude. If I do go to the grocery store, I'm making sure it's all organic and I'm making sure I know the production of the people who make them. I'm the type of
markets mostly.
Yeah, farmers markets mostly if I'm not eating my own food. But I'm the type of person like, hey, Nabi, we need this type of food. Nabi, my manager, is my right hand man. I'm like, Nabi, look, see where that apple come from. Let's find the company and call the company. Let's get to know the company, because just like you want to get to know your woman before you put your penis in her. You know what I'm saying? You want to know who her family is and what you're getting yourself into before you marry her and create a baby. It should be the same thing we do to our food. Who is the parents of these foods? Where did these foods come from? What's the integrity behind these foods? Who's pushing these foods? Do they even believe in black power? Do they believe in unifying, Pan-Africans? Do they believe in indigenous freedom? We don't know that. So, we got to understand that spirit and frequency is real too. So you can be buying food from a person that don't even like you. And just that fact alone changes the molecular structure of the food, because we already know that frequency changes the actual molecular structure and weight of water. And most of the fruits and vegetables are made of about 60 to 70% water. So before I eat something, I want to know all about it. It's so many times where we go without eating and we go into intermittent fasting because I just can't eat it because I don't know the history behind certain things. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you. So that, me personally, I'm vegan, been vegan for about a month and a half. 80% alkaline, 20% vegan. You know what I'm saying? So talk to me about, back to the Dr. Sebi question, then I want to ask you about the difference between alkaline, vegan, and vegan.
And real quick, no disrespect to Dr. Sebi, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact,
just wanted to really ask what legacy have you continue.
We could talk about it, but I want to do a moment of silence for him. I don't want nobody to think I'm disrespecting him, because without him, I would never ever been inspired to do so. It's just a lot of people think that I learned from Dr. Sebi, and I didn't. He inspired me. My personal teachers was Dr. Lilela Africa. That was a personal teacher of mine. Dr. Phil Valentine, that was a personal teacher of mine. Dr. Morse, that was a personal teacher of mine. So, Sabi inspired me a lot, but a lot of people are under the assumption that I'm a Sabian, and I'm far from a Sabian. In fact, I really didn't learn nothing from Dr. Sebi. His first initial conversations and those videos inspired me to go do my own work. And while doing my own work, other names popped up that I really started listening to, and then they took me under their tutelage, and that's how I really started learning. Then they let me out into the world, and I say I need to do this on my own. And then doing it on my own, I found out that everybody have their own way of teaching or looking at the truth, and I had to find my own truth, because even down to Lilela, for all of them, it was things that I just didn't agree with. Once I got my own stuff, once I started doing my own studies, I'm like, dang, okay, so this is what I found. I don't know if the equipment was old or mine was new.
So every healer has their own way of healing and their different herbs.
Oh, of course.
And everything.
For instance, I don't know one master healer that agrees with each other 100%. Not one.
Right.
Now,
I see that.
I have 1 million followers that agree with everything I say because they're my followers. But the moment that they break off from me, which I encourage them to do all the time, I always tell them to do their own research, do their own experiments, and do their own studies. The moment they do that, it's going to push a different outcome. For one, everything is different, everything is evolving, everything is growing, the climate is different. So there's many different experiments that you can do that to bring a different outcome. That's why the creator made many healers. So, and that's what I did. I branched off and I did my own work, and I seen.
So you believe that, okay, let's just say certain diseases, the way
I don't believe in disease. I think disease is an illusion. Disease have been pushed on us by the pharmaceutical companies and by the allopathic community to make us buy pharmaceuticals to combat them diseases. I don't believe that our bodies have the capability of creating diseases. I believe that you can be at dis-ease, meaning that the meridian pathways can become blocked up and you can't energetically flow, and that'll create a pain. But these are detoxification symptoms. There's two types of industries. There's the health holistic industry that was created by the creator, which gave you the natural capability of healing yourself. And then you have the allopathic community that was created by John D. Rockefeller and the Rothschilds, which they put a spin on the natural creator and gave you a potion. So for instance, if you get a cold and the flu like symptoms right now, you have a fever. All right, that's the first signs of, they say, the flu. The next sign is congestion and coughing. That is say that's another symptom of a flu. The next one will be inflammation. That is say that's these three symptoms. If you get caught with these three symptoms, you technically have a virus called the flu. But if you look at it, a fever is to thin out the blood. And the reason why you thinning out the blood is to increase circulation. The reason why you increase in circulation because you need macro and phytonutrients to go throughout the blood to find the actual location of inflammation, for it can bring nutrients to that area to heal that spot. Then they say a cough. A cough is a symptom of disease. A cough is a symptom of a flu. But if you check the physiology and the healing mechanism of a cough, you're going to feel your lungs and your bronchial tubes opening up. They're going to constrict and they're going to dilate. This actually getting mucosa membrane-like fluid out of your chest walls and out of your chest cavity. So coughing is clearing your bronchial tubes of any bacteria and cytotoxins that don't need to be there. So for instance, sneezing, hachoo. If you sneeze in your hand, you're going to feel something hit your hand. These are particles and nitrogen and things like that that's not supposed to be in your bloodstream or your nasal passageways. So most of the symptoms or the symptomology that they call disease is not disease at all. These are actually symptoms of detoxification, which God gave your body the natural capability to cleanse itself anyway.
So how would you classify STDs, cancer?
So
those aren't diseases?
No, cancer is not an STD. I mean, cancer is
No,
not
no,
a
I
disease.
know it's not an STD, but
No,
I'm
cancer
talking
is not a disease. So when you look at cancer, cancer is basically when the cell loses 66% of its oxygen. This is called hypoxia. When the cell loses 66% of its oxygen, so this is how, these are the four stages to cancer. The first thing is automatically toxicity. Things that's not supposed to be in the biochemical molecular structure. Toxicity, that's eating the wrong foods, breathing in the wrong air, drinking contaminated water, having high estrogen foods like soy, which is the vegan movement. I'm gonna show you how unhealthy this vegan movement is. I'm not a vegan, I'm plant-based. I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, none of that, but I'm not a vegan because even taking on that notation of that word comes with a whole lot of stuff. What do you mean by vegan? You know what I'm saying? Or you plant-based vegan, raw vegan, or you processed vegan, ultra processed vegan. So I don't even claim that word for real. So the only time I really use it is when I need to identify with people that are claiming to be vegan. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is toxicity. The moment that you take in something that is foreign to the body, what's going to happen is it's going to create a deficiency. So first thing is toxicity. Toxicity brings on what you'll call deficiency. Deficiency is when the cells lack either macronutrients, amino acid, or carboxylic acid. Oxygen is when the cell lacks something. So after toxicity, deficiency come in. Once deficiency come in, what you will call adaptation come in, where the cell have to adapt in their environment. Niggas do that every day in the hood. They adapt to their environment. Or you could put a punk in jail and he come out a beast because he adapted to the environment and the situation when he was in prison. So you got toxicity, you got deficiency, you have adaptation. Then the last one is mutation, where the cells mutate. The cells had to mutate to survive in the actual environmental phases that you put them in. This is what they call cancer. So if I eat something that's a carcinogen, right, that creates cancer, what they say creates cancer, what my body is going to do is, my body is so smart, my body is going to take all of those toxins that's inside the body, is going to create a fleshly trash bag and put all the trash in that trash bag. And not only is it going to put all that trash in that fleshly trash bag, but it's going to put macrophages in there. It's going to put T cells, B cells, which is bone marrow cells, thymus gland cells that come from the actual white blood cells as a part of what they call the immune system, because there is no such thing as the immune system. It's called the lymphatic system. Once all these things go into that bag, it's going to swell and create a mass. Guess what they call this mass? A tumor. Then they said that this tumor is lacking 66% of its oxygen and it has some type of pathology or a parasite in it. They clinically will call this cancer. But if you look at what the body just did, the body created a trash bag, put all the bullshit inside the trash bag, closed it off. It got bigger because it's constantly feeding that trash bag. And they'll say, well, you got a disease or you got a tumor. Me, I'm clapping my hands. That means my body worked and my body not to create a trash bag and put all the trash there, because if these things blow back and go into my bloodstream, I'm going to change my blood pH. And if my blood pH is what they call potential hydrogen change, then I die of acidosis. So is cancer really a healing mechanism or is it disease? It's a healing mechanism. It's not disease. Same thing with viruses and all of these things. I have yet to see a so-called virus. Remember, I study microbiology. We putting cells and stuff.
So you don't believe STDs are...
So no, STDs is not I mean, I believe that it's a sexually transmitted demon, but I don't believe it's a sexually transmitted disease. What you're passing over is parasites. That's what you're passing over, parasites and acids. That's why it burns. That's why when you get gonorrhea, it burns, because it's a parasite that comes with a low pH. That's why chlamydia burns, because you're transferring over a parasite with a low pH. Whereas the disease, all you have to do is get rid of the acids and kill the parasite, and then notice that it goes away. What they do is they give you antibiotics. But if you look, remember I was telling you that the body is made of 150 trillion cells. That's what makes up a human body. 100 trillion cells out of 150 trillion cells don't even belong to a human. It belongs to something called the microbiome kingdom or the microbiota. These are organisms that don't even come from Earth. So what makes you don't even come from this place we call Earth. If you kill all of them, you can't make your blood flow properly. It's impossible for you to ferment and break down your food. You can't even initiate what you would call the innate immune system response. All of these things are actually initiated by these microorganisms that we take antibiotics, and think of the word antibiotics. Anti means against, bio means life. So antibiotic means what? Against life. So you would catch a so-called disease or a bacterial infection, then you would take these antibiotics and then they kill your biology. And that's why if you look at antibiotics and you look at people that go to the dentist and get their tooth pulled and take these strong doses of amoxicillin, penicillin, all of these different fungus and molds, they get cancer later on down the line. I can show you pictures right now on my phone of tumors. We just passed, 7 days ago? Lady had cervical cancer. She came to my clinic. We gave her herbs. We put her on the therapy. All of her tumors that was connected to her cervix fell out of her vagina. You look at these tumors, they big. She put them next to things, and we do this all the time. Guess what they got oozing out of them? This white substance. You take a piece of that white substance, send it off to the laboratory and get it tested. Guess what it's full of? Fungus. But guess what antibiotics is made out of? Fungus. So everything that they call a disease is not disease. It's the body natural capability of healing itself. The biggest mastery or magical trick, or what I call illusion, happened in the world. And that was to take think about how smart this was. Very evil, but how smart it was. I'm going to trick you into believing your body detoxifying itself is a damn disease. And instead of saying stop eating the bullshit you eating, go and get some sunlight, drink some non-contaminated water, go and get some H3O2, which is drinking from your fruits, get in front of the sun, make sure that you are doing diaphragmatic breathing, get in a hyperbaric chamber, do some EWOT training, something where you exercise and breathe in oxygen, get some photolight therapy, go through biophotomodulations, go back into nature and heal. I'm going to say, you know what? You have a disease. You can keep eating all the bullshit you eating. Just come get these pharmaceuticals, which was made by petroleum oil. Once you get into John D. Rockefeller and you see what really backs and fuel the pharmaceutical drug company, they take organic botanicals. They take these botanicals and then they mix them with petroleum oil and they give you a pharmaceutical from them. This is why so many different side effects from them, because they're putting petroleum oil in your body. So your body is rejecting it. See that? So I'm going to create the problem, putting you in all of these different environments that you're not supposed to be in. I'm going to drive you insane. I'm going to put the food in your community. I'm going to put the drugs in your community. I'm going to put the guns in your community. I'm going to put the bitches in your community that have these so-called venereal diseases. And then I'm going to take every opportunity out of the community to get you to leave the situation. Then you're going to create all these symptoms because you are a godlike being. Melanated beings are gods. We're not human. Our biology and our physical structure, our anatomy is totally different from anybody else on planet Earth. So I'm going to lock you in this concrete jungle. Then you're going to start healing yourself naturally. And I'm going to trick you into believing there's a disease. And then I'm going to give you the real deadly potion, which is my pharmaceutical medicine. And you're going to pay for it until you die. Then once you die, remember, it's all backed by insurance. I'm still going to make money off your death. It's a trick. When all you got to do is eat right. and get back to your godlike self. Go back into nature. We
So what should
have
they?
gotten away from ourselves, brother.
For sure. So what should people eat like when it's time to heal? Would you agree that they should be eating on an alkaline diet?
Definitely. So there's no such thing as an alkaline diet. That's the biggest lie ever. What is an alkaline diet?
Is it pH, right?
Yeah, it's a pH. pH stands for potential hydrogen. All pH means is voltage. So when you look at potential hydrogen, you're checking the voltage of a solution. That's a liquid. So you're checking the voltage. It's called potential hydrogen. How many hydrogen ions there's going to be in this specific solution? That's what pH is. So if you switch over pH to millivolts, when you look at 7 is at an actual 0. When you look at 14, which is what they call alkaline, that is at a negative 400 millivolts. When you look at a 0, that's at a positive 400 millivolts.
So alkaline isn't pH 7 and above by your definition.
No, it ain't by my definition. It's by science. So 7 is not a good thing. We think all 7 means is neutral. You're not getting nothing from neutrality. That means you ain't playing on both sides. Neutral is actually in street terms, that's a bitch nigga. You neutral, you gotta pick a side. You either the good guy or you the bad guy. How you playing the straddle of the fence? So when you really look at it for what it is, it's voltage. All pH means is electricity. The body is electric. So how much electricity can I get in the body and slow that electricity down? The slower the electricity is, because they have a bunch of negative magnetic fields around it, they are called this alkaline. The faster that electricity is and the more waves that shoots through the physical anatomy, they call that acidic because it's moving fast. Anything that moves fast creates a combustion. Combustion creates a byproduct. For instance, you put car in your gas, you turn the key in the ignition, you press the gas, what come out of the tailpipe? Carbon dioxide. So from this fuel that I'm putting in my vehicle that I call a car, right? In order for me to use this fuel, I have to create a byproduct called carbon dioxide, which is very acidic. So, but if I slow the car down, it's not less likely to get hot or to create that friction that create metabolic waste. So when you look at pH just means electricity. It just means the cell, how much voltage do you have in the cell? So instead of looking at it from a pH standpoint, we have to start looking at it in millivolts. So the body runs off of 25 millivolts. 25 millivolts is particularly about 7.88 pH. So at a 7.88, that's where you would say, okay, he's coming into an alkaline state, because we are alkaline. We are batteries. We're rechargeable alkaline batteries. All right. But even at 25, you still subjected to colds and flus, like symptoms, or what you would call detoxification symptoms. So the body really supposed to be operating at 50 millivolts. 50 millivolts is about 7.5 all the way into 7.5 to 7. And don't look it up, y'all. Don't quote me on it. It's been a while since I actually studied all of it. But 7.5 to 7.99. And then but in order to turn over a new cell or reproduce a new cell by way of the ribosome, this is basically when you go through something called autophagy. Auto just means self. Phagy means eating. Your body does this every night between the hours of 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., where the body literally cleanses itself. And then what they call the white blood cells or the immune system go through the body and get rid of all of the rubbish and all the old stuff and throw it out, right? Your cells have to produce literally 50 to 90 millivolts to do that. Guess what pH that is? That's 8.1 pH. So we be looking at this alkaline thing different. All alkaline and acid means is just two different sides of electricity. Fast electricity is acidic. Slow electricity that have a negative ion or what you would call magnetism to it is alkaline. No food you eat is alkaline. Only the food you eat can become alkaline forming. And that's based off the electrolytes and the minerals, or what they call the ash that's left behind. It's called potassium. They do these tests all the time where they take a food, they assimilate or imitate the digestive system. They will burn this food like it's at the same temperature of your digestive system. And then the minerals it leave behind is what makes it alkaline or make it acidic forming. There's no such thing as an alkaline food. You can test a food right now and it can be alkaline, and then you can eat it and it can turn into acid once it goes through its digestive process. For example, quinoa. Quinoa is alkaline if you test it outside the body. But if you put the quinoa in the body and go through its digestive process, it is actually acidic forming because it leaves behind phosphorus and sulfur. If it leaves behind calcium and magnesium, then they will call it alkaline. See that? An apple. You test the apple right now. You can get on your phone and Google it. Matter of fact, let me do it. It's gonna say pH is gonna say 2.5. That's an apple. Apple was created by God. How is it that low on the potential hydrogen scale? because it's full of electricity. It's moving so fast. But when you eat it, your metabolic process slows that down. That electricity becomes slow. You gather more what you would call anions and cations. Then once you use the bathroom, you check the mineral ash and it leaves back magnesium. It leaves back zinc. It doesn't leave back phosphorus. It leaves back calcium. So they will say, oh, apples are alkaline forming. See, I'm not worried about if it's alkaline or acids. I'm worried about what is it after it goes through my body and I defecate it. What minerals did it leave behind in my cells? Because my cells are going to use those minerals to keep me electrically charged.
Yeah, it's your boy Lil Baby. I'm right here with Aristotle Investments.
Obviously, you got with me too. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Big Glow, and I'm right here with my boy Aristotle.
Let's get it.
He about to teach me about these dividends and saving money.
It's your boy DC Young Fly, man. I'm here with my boy Aristotle.
Shout out to Aristotle. I took his class.
Man, this dude is the truth, dog. He just put me on game on like investments, dividends, stock market.
I sit around with a bunch of my friends and we talk about stocks all day now.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Stupid knowledge, you dig?
I've learned so much. Aristotle had put my trading level on top.
I done learned so much about stock trading, options in particular. It's really changed my whole life and concept about money and investing.
This dude taking people off the corner, man.
I can honestly just say that, like, before Aristotle, dude, I was trading off of impulse. A little bit of stuff I learned off of YouTube. But this package, it's the real deal. It'll get you trading off of real facts. You'll be able to back check, and you'll be able to know what you're doing, not just jump in because you think it's right.
I really should go check out this campaign if you really got something going on. Y'all know me, I'm trying to get my 100 M's any kind of way I can. Yeah.
This is Aristotle Investments, and welcome to Stock Sundays, where I go over a recap of last week's top news you may have missed, option trade recaps and strategies I take, important data and earnings to look forward to, a watch list for next week. And if you stay to the end, I do a live Q&A.
Live. Every Sunday.
Tap in. So talk to me about the foods people should eat. Let's just say somebody comes into your clinic, cancer,
Real quick.
STD,
The pH of apples. Just want to show you. The pH of apples. pH of apples, what they say?
3.5.
Okay, so according to Google, is 3.5 alkaline or acid?
Acid.
Acid, because anything below 7, anything below neutral is acid. Now check this out. Is apples alkaline forming? What they say? That first thing.
Yes, apples are considered an alkaline food. Apples contain alkaline minerals like potassium, magnesium, calcium.
So hold on now. What did I just prove? It's the minerals or the electrolytes left behind that makes the food alkaline or not. See, our whole perception of pH is even different because people are not really going to school and learning these things correctly. What happened is people soundbite. They listen to the late great master teacher. For people that think I'm knocking my inspiration, they listen to the late great Dr. Sebi and they run with words and they don't do their own studying. So apples, if you test them outside the body, you can get you an electrical alkaline meter and check them. They're going to always be acidic. But if you put them through the test and you take them through your digestive system, or you do something that imitate the digestive system and you check the ash, that's where the word potassium come from. It comes from the word potassium, because it's about the ash that's left behind after these foods are broken down into their basic structure. Then you check the ash if it's potassium, if it's magnesium, and if it's calcium and zinc and copper left behind, it is always alkaline forming. If it's phosphorus mixed with anything else, they will call that acidic forming because it's too electrically charged. If the electrical pulse moves too fast, it will burn you. The slower it is, the more negative ion magnetic fields come in, and it's healing. That's the difference. So there is no such thing as an alkaline food or acidic food. There's a such thing as alkaline forming food and alkaline and acidic forming food.
So can you talk to me about personally what you eat and what you would recommend somebody eat? Because, you know, they come through your clinic, they're asking to be healed.
Yeah.
You heal diseases.
I don't heal diseases. I don't believe in disease.
You heal.
I help detoxify
problems,
the body.
right? You heal problems with the body.
I help detoxify the body.
You
Your
help
body heals itself.
Okay.
I'm not a healer.
Okay. So you help detoxify the body, but while you're helping detoxify the body, you put them on a strict diet.
Yes, definitely.
And what can you please list the foods you can.
Yes, fruits, berries, and melons, and some vegetables. Fruits, berries, melons, and some vegetables.
And could you name those fruits, berries,
Fruits,
vegetables, and grains if you put that on?
I take everybody off of grains. Everybody got to come off grains. Grains are full of gluten. Even your grain-free foods are full of what you would call gluten-like chemicals. So I take everybody off of grains. But apples are very, very good. You know, oranges are very, very good. Anything that grows on the tree. And the beautiful thing about fruits that grow on a tree, they grow closer to the sun. The sun beats down and permeates on that fruit. It go through something called biomodulation, or what you would call photosynthesis. And the sun literally cooks all the information into the actual fruits. You then take that fruit, and since the sun went through it, you have something called hydrophilic and hydrophilic material. It changes the molecular structure of the water that's in the fruit, and it takes it from H2O and it turns it to something called H3O2. And this is a highly, highly organized and hydrative type of liquid. So anybody that's suffering from so-called disease, I'm going to put them on an alkaline forming diet. And these are the foods that you find in nature, organic in a process. Most of them have seeds on them. They grow from trees. I don't really start getting you into ground foods until you start really detoxifying. And if you detox too fast, I'll put you on ground foods, and them are vegetables, or what they call vegetation is on your table. So if you want to heal, or if you want to go through the proper detoxification mechanism, all you have to do is fruits, berries, melons, and some vegetables. So fruits are pears, fruits are apples, things like that.
Pretty much raw vegan.
Yeah, raw vegan. Because I mean, have you seen any other mammal in history of mankind cooking a food other than humans? I don't see no pots, no pans, no grease, no seed oil, none of that in nature. They go get their food from the source, and they don't mix their food. They mono eat at a time. You will never see a gorilla mixing berries with bamboo. They will eat their berries first. They will wait till that digest, then they'll come back and they eat. Now, do they eat tons of it? Of course, because they need a lot to keep their molecular structure and their mass on them. But you don't never see them mixing. All of these different concepts came from our ancestors. And just because our ancestors did it, don't make the shit right. We act like just because the ancestors did it, that it's fact and it's absolute and it's true. No, they messed up too. That's why we in the shit we in right now, because the ancestors didn't do it right. So if everything else went wrong with the ancestors, why do we think that the diet was correct? But then when you go back and you look, and all you got to do is this. Put people on these diets I'm talking about, their body will naturally heal. So obviously we had a diet that consisted of all fruits. And then nobody want to talk about this West African tribe called the Essenes. It's a West African tribe called the Essenes. That was right over there by Israel, all across the river of Jordan. Guess what they were? They were plant-based eaters. They didn't eat meat. They took natural baths, mineral salt baths. This is where real mineral salt baths came from. The Essenes. It's a book called The Essene Gospel of Peace. These people are written in Torahs. They're written in scrolls and literature that was found in caves. They was found in caves where they talk about their diet. They talk about their fasting. They intermittent fasted every day. So everybody be like, well, it's not on the hieroglyphs. On the hieroglyphs, I seen niggas eating meat. Well, what about these scrolls? That's dated back even further than what y'all talking about. And this is a group over 100,000 in population, and they didn't eat no meat, no grains. Only thing they put in their body was fruits, vegetables, and melons, and sometimes herbs. And look, they did parasite cleanses. They knew how to break down the herbs to get certain things out of their body. They came up with a concept that the parasites were actually demons. We going around looking for a red man with horns and a pitchfork. And they saying, man, your disease, your demons. These parasites in you, secreting all of they different secretions in your body, making you want these sugars, these sugar canes, which is the same, damn near the same molecular chemical weight as cocaine. As a matter of fact, it's 25 times more addicted than cocaine. And it's in all of your children's food. It's in their cereals. It's in their candies. You reward them with these deadly drugs. Good job, son. Go get a piece of candy. On your birthday, you giving them a big old cake with all of these sugars in it, patting them on their back. Then they swallow it down with ice cream with more sugar. Like, it's the culture, it's the society, it's the way we have been taught to look at food, it's the way we have been taught to look at disease, it's the way we've been taught to look at ourselves. We are gods, but we acting like men. We acting like humans, and we not. We're not of human biology. I even hate that word too, because we're not of that. When you check our chemical molecular structure, there's something very, very different about us. And that's called the God molecule. And once you realize that you are God, God have his own diet. God got his own way of speaking. God got his own way of conducting business. God got his own way with fraternizing. God have moral codes. God's got laws. See that? And I think that's why a lot of so-called black people hate being called that or run away from that, because the shit come with a great responsibility, and you have to get away from your animalistic lower nature to become and elevate to your higher self so you can even operate at that. And a lot of brothers and sisters don't have that discipline.
You said a lot there, my brother. So, cool. So can you talk to me about the difference between holistic and traditional healing?
Yeah, so real traditional healing is holistic healing.
Okay.
All you gotta do is go back in slavery days. What did Big Mama make? Poke root salad. Anybody from down south know about poke root salad? What do the poke root do? I call it a tumor buster. So you see them in slavery living long, if they wouldn't get murdered and tarred and feathered, of course. But they was living long. But they ate the pig. We know that the pig is the most abominable, despicable thing on planet Earth to put in a human body. But how was they able to live long eating the trash like that? Because they had things like dandelion greens, which Georgia grow millions in their front line and their back line every day. But they have tricked us to believing that these things are weeds. So we go get something called weed killer and spray them and kill them down instead of picking them and picking their roots and using the roots to cleanse our blood, using the flower to get iron and oxygen, and using the leaf to cleanse our gut. See, they knew these traditional things. These things was passed down, but when you are dumb, deaf, and blind and you're put on drugs, just because you ain't smoking a crack pipe don't mean we not addicts. You see what I'm saying? Even this vegan movement, them are drugs they putting us on. Ultra processed food is a drug. So traditional is all the old things that our ancestors were doing to clean their body. And then look, they brought into the sauna because they was on cotton fields in the heat of the day, working out after eating all of the herbs that they called a salad. They knew what they was doing, detoxing. You see what I'm saying? Living long. So traditional medicine is holistic medicine. It's this non-traditional medicine, or what they call alternative, is the pharmaceutical companies. And it's crazy how they flip it, but that's what Satan do. That's what Babel mean. And we're in Babylon. And Babel means to confuse. It means to turn upside down. And that's what America have done. They have turned all the knowledge upside down. What you think is right is really left. What you think is up is really down. Maps been flipped. Places that's ancient over here, they call it in Africa. So it's a whole big, it's a scheme going on, man. It really is, man. And it's kind of angry when you really think about it.
I think what got me first into this, what was I? I think I'm 28. How old are you?
I'm 36.
Okay, so I saw, of course, you seen the series I'm about to say, The Hidden Colors.
Yeah.
I saw the 4 episodes. This was back in 2015, and that's what got me into everything you're saying, like learning about self, because I felt lost until I saw that film.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
But
That's
man,
what got me through a rabbit hole.
But being a melanated being, I know you always felt it, that carbon and that melanin speaking to you. Like man, I know I'm somebody. Because even when I was in the streets getting shot, doing shooting, robbing, getting locked up, doing drugs, I always knew in the back of my head that I was somebody though. I just didn't know who that somebody was, and I couldn't shorten the gap to get it.
Mine came from when we did a school project when I was in elementary school, and I saw the list of black inventors. I saw that list.
That's powerful,
back in
bro.
2003.
So what grade was that in? What grade was that for you?
Had to be in like 2nd grade.
That's powerful.
So I did a school project on Charles Drew.
Yeah.
And I learned, and I still can remember everything. Garrett Morgan traffic light, Charles Drew blood transfusion, Madam C.J. Walker.
Yeah.
The doorknob, we invented the engine.
Everything.
Lewis Lattimore actually helped Thomas Edison invent the light bulb.
Yeah.
Traffic light, I already said that, gas mask, so many things, right? Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, black people invented that? Mm. You know what I'm saying?
So you found something to identify with,
and it was
based off that identification, it gave you a self of empowerment.
That's where I first got my black empowerment from, was 2nd grade when I saw the list of inventors.
You see the power of image, you see the power of history, the power of culture.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's powerful, brother. Man,
when did you first get your spark?
It went when I was little, man. You know, everybody be acting like they had a good childhood, but I was piss poor, broke. St. Louis projects, Joe Steen projects. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had 2 pennies to rub together or a pot to piss in, nor the window to throw it out of. You know what I'm saying? So I lived a life of poverty, of crime, of violence. You know what I'm saying? All types of stuff, man. That you know, it ain't no reason sitting up here talking about all of it. But I think my awakening came from my own self annihilation. You know what I'm saying? Cause all the way up until like I got metal from here to here, had my jaw shattered, bullet wounds, fragments still in me. I got stabbed, almost died of internal bleeding. Like I really lived a warrior lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But through all of that, I still didn't know who I was. I knew I was something important. But what really woke me up one day is after I got out of jail, the heart attack woke me up. But what really woke me up, man, it's a dude I used to record with. His name Tannen. And ironically, he died of liver disease, and that's the first so-called disease that I actually helped get rid of. But his brother was over one day, and I walk into the room, and this is where I get this from. Because he saluted me, he did this, and he said, "Peace, black Jew." And I said, "Ain't no damn Jew, that's the people over there in Israel." He said, "Boy, you are in Israel." And that just stuck with me, man.
So I won't say that you believe in that. Talk to me about that, because they say we're the original Jews.
Yeah, the original Jews.
Can you touch on that subject?
I mean, I believe that, you know, we're the original Jews, the descendants of the Israelites, you know. And you know, it's crazy though, even our ancestors believe that when they used to be on the cotton field. You know what I'm saying? Wade in the water, children. Who was them children all dressed in white? Wade in the water, must be the children of the Israelites. Wade in the water. So they knew who they was. You know, this stuff is in our blood, it's in our bones, it's in our DNA. You know what I'm saying? We are special, peculiar people. What I like for people to do is, because, you know, I speak fluent Hebrew, I write fluent Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really in Hebrew. I taught Hebrew. I was actually a Kohanim, what you call Hebrew priest, for 10 years. Me and my big brother Malachi Maccabee ran an actual temple. Am I lying, Nabi? Man, we had 5,000 members in our congregation. So I always been a leader. You know what I'm saying? I'm a gang leader all the way over to a church leader to a Hebrew temple leader. You know what I'm saying?
What gang were you in prior to
so since I'm not in a gang no more, I'm really gang politic, and I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? But we had something called Black Mob Street Gang, which was made of a bunch of other different gangs. You know what I'm saying? Just to say a little bit about it. Gangs are bad, get up out of them. But you know, the invention of gangs was actually had a good intentions.
So it wasn't Blood, Crip, Folk.
I mean, I'm from St. Louis, in a little section of Illinois. Bloods and Crips came in later, but we started off GD, BD, Vice Lord, Two Folk, Four Code, Latin Kings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Almighties, Peabodys. That was us. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
LA had their own thing going on, which was the originator of that. But when you start looking at, you know, the Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, GDs and BDs, even the Bloods and the Crips, they didn't start it off with violence. They had a plan of action in mind. And that was to gather the community, to protect the community, to bring programs to their own community, and to uplift their community, to unify their community. I think infiltrate, to me personally, I can't prove this, but I think it was some type of CIA operation that went on where they inserted type of people inside of there and started wars. And I think we still brewing off that to this very day. Now, I can't speak on LA Bloods and Crips and that politic, but I know that's what happened when Illinois and St. Louis, you know, they seen something good going on, and just like they always do, they send an infiltrator in there to mix up things and turn brothers against each other. So I think that's what it is. But if you even look like, you know, brotherly love over our depression, community revolution in progress, GD, gangster disciple, growth development. Even if you read the literature of this stuff, it's talking about transcending one mind. You know what I'm saying? When you look at King David, King Larry, they was talking about getting over from your animalistic nature to your higher nature. We the people, almighty nation, twofold, BD. Like when you look at Blood and Black Disciple, man, they was on some revolutionary type of stuff. And I'm not sitting here condoning any violence, any gangs, but I'm saying when you get into the literature and the history of these things, their intentions wasn't what the world painted it to be and what it is now. You know what I'm saying? It was to unify.
Back in the day, and they used to tell me the same thing. Like,
yeah, man, you look at that lit, you know what I'm saying? Man, it blow your mind. It was when I had my lit, it was like a whole little Bible. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, man, it's looking at the 6-point star and what that really represents, the Merkabah, the light body vehicle. It's like King David and Larry, that was on some different stuff, man, that, you know, a lot of us took, and just like they do with everything, they pervert everything. They take our knowledge and our wisdom and they make it wicked and make it bad, and then we use it against ourselves to get ill gain from it. Even when you start talking about magic and stuff, a lot of people think magic is wrong, and you be like, how is that wicked And how is stones wicked? How is sage? How's all this wicked? But it's in the very Bible that you read. Urim and Thummim, they pulling out dice and roll. Your first dice rollers is in the Torah. They will pull out dice and roll dice, and then this will manifest the will of God. It's called Urim and Thummim. Or you start talking about gold chains. You start seeing all types of Hebrews in the Torah wearing chains wrapped in gold. King David, King Solomon, or King Shlomo, Melech
He
Shomo.
said that. He said our the kings and queens used to be flashy.
Man.
So it's translating into us.
Man, look how we got grills. It's a book in King Solomon. It says that it says his cheeks were comely of precious gold and minerals and jewels. If your cheeks is full of precious gold, minerals, and jewels, that means you got a full grill going on. All 32 of them covered with some type of metallic.
This is in the Bible scripture.
This is in the Bible. I could pull this up right. Look, everything I'm saying, I'm willing to back it up right now. Just tell me when you want me to pull whatever I'm saying.
Right.
So, but this is what I'm saying. Corruption have been put inside of us. Now, I don't want to play, everybody want to play the white man game. I think that we have the power to change a lot of things now. We control our own destiny. That was the whole thing that Me 19 Keys and Billy Carson was talking about at Invest Fest. But, if you look at the root cause to the problem, we didn't create this problem. Now, is it our fault for not fixing it? Definitely. But if you look, it's Russian AK-47s in my neighborhood right now. Right now, this very moment.
Right.
Ain't none of them niggas ever been to Russia. It's Japanese SKs in my neighborhood right now. Ain't none of them little ones ever been to Japan. Cocaine, poppy trees, they being manufactured in Colombia, Mexico, Brazil. We ain't never been to none of them countries.
So you letting them in is what you're saying.
So somebody is strategically placing these things in the community, creating these mental prisons and infrastructures to keep us in there. Now, the whole question that we should be asking ourselves is, why are they so prone to keeping us deaf, dumb, blind, sleep, and sedated? Because obviously when we really wake up and find out who we are, give me my shit back. Just saying.
Nah, for sure. That's for real. So I want to talk about, we talked about health, healing, holistic thing. My community is based on, I'm an investor.
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about some financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, you got a movie coming out, correct?
Yeah.
Well, you already have movies out.
Yeah, we got movies out,
but
Tubi. But we got a dope movie coming out called Virgin Vegan. Super dope too.
Explain the title.
Virgin Vegan. It's basically, can I talk about it right now, even though it ain't out yet? So basically, Virgin Vegan is about a woman. She get her heart broke, and she down and depressed, and they convince her to go vegan. She go vegan. She start feeling real good. She had a few. Even in the movie, we try to make it realistic as possible. She got a few detoxification symptoms and stuff going on. But basically, what happened is she changed her life around, and she wanted to attract a good man. So what she did was, her and her friends made a pact that they was gonna go celibate and not give away no vagina. So the movie is all about them changing their life around, them getting more healthier, and them trying to be celibate. But when you detoxing, the devil come knocking at your door. All them root chakra, lower animalistic self natures is gonna be, and you can just see them. She horny, and she like, I'm trying to keep my body to myself, to re-purify myself, because she's becoming a virgin. She wasn't a virgin before, but vegan just means she trying to purify herself. She went vegan, she went celibate, she's trying to take her power and her wound and her body back. And it just shows the world and society trying to keep her from it. But it's made into a comedy though.
You said a bar that I'm not gonna let go from my head. You said once you're detoxing, the devil come knocking.
Yeah.
That's for real.
No, man, boy, look, a fast. Call a fast right now. Look, you can feel it, you got the inspiration. I'm finna go on a 3-day fast. Not even a whole hour past. Stomach like it ain't even been an hour. So it shows you mindset. And it lets you know that you are your own devil. Everybody want to look. Sure. Everybody want to look down for the devil is in you. Everybody want to look up for a savior. Is in you. We're here to save ourselves, man. A lot of us have the Messiah complex. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that the Messiah didn't exist. But if the Messiah did exist, and from the words that I read in any literature or any religious book, it tells you that it's within you. Here go the pieces. The kingdom of God is within you. Save yourself. It said, don't be looking up in the heavens for salvation, for the kingdom of God is in the midst of you. We always want to look up in the sky and get on our knees and pray. Not saying nothing wrong with that type of discipline. It's amazing. But where is the works behind your prayers? Where is the works and the manifestation of your deeds behind you going to the temples, behind your fast, and behind all these things? All of these things is what I call outward practices to validate something inward. So yeah, devil is you.
You also said something too prior to us rolling the camera, was that films were lucrative.
Yes, very.
And I personally, you know, how you said you didn't believe in certain stuff. I just didn't believe, like, hey, this thing was that lucrative.
Oh, it is.
But
man.
you said, hey, I dropped $60K investment on the film and returned me $300K.
Yeah.
And it keeps rolling. Can you talk to me about that?
And it never stops. So you can shoot a movie right now, and then you're in a good position, though, King, because you got all the equipment already. You got all the equipment. Only thing you need is a distributor. And guess who was a distributor, brother? I just so happen to be one. Yahkis Awaken Productions.
Explain to me what a distributor is.
So a distributor is somebody that actually have the means to, like, you just can't pick up the phone and call Netflix. You just can't pick up the phone and call Amazon Prime. Even some of them is closed out now. They only dealing with who they dealing with. Well, I'm locked in with them. So if you make a film and we go in together on a film and we do a certain deal, I can be your distributor, meaning I can be the connect to you getting on the platforms and getting your movie released. You know what I'm saying? But this is easy because it's passive income. You already got the equipment, so you ain't got to spend no money on that. Now you just got to make the equipment make the money. You already got your cameraman. Now you just need a team to put together to shoot the movie. You know what I'm saying? You got real estate like I do. Like, you got everything you need to shoot a movie. You already got. You ain't really got to pay nothing. The only thing you're going to be paying is your workers to work everything. And then after you get it done, put it together, have your editor edit it, you holler at me and we'll take you to our attorney. You can put it on any of these platforms and sit back and watch it work. It can be the wackest movie in the world just because it's on the platform, because they need to fill slots. They looking for content just like we is. How Keys always shooting, you always shooting. It's been cameras around me since I've been here because everybody gathering content. Well, guess who looking for the content? These big platforms. So you could put your movie on these platforms and make residual income. Now, and you can do double things too. You can create a certain type of deals with them. Like, I got one of the best deals. What was my deal? I got one of the best deals in the world. Mine was a 90-10 deal. So all the profit I make 90% of the profit off of all of my content that I put on the platform and get them 10. Now, in some situations that wouldn't make sense. Like if they said something like 50-50, well, we got enough power and I got enough followers. I can just make my own platform and release my movie on my own platform. But they made the deal so sweet for me. It's like, why not just shoot content? I don't even got to put my name on it. I'll pay for it. I got all the equipment. Y'all can put it up, call it whatever y'all want to call it. I told them, long as there ain't no homosexual acts going on in these movies and it ain't degrading black women, y'all can put anything up. Am I lying, I be? Right. So, and you put them up and you, man, every month it hit your bank account. Every month. So you already have built the platform. You got the camera equipment. You got the real estate. The real estate is your shooting place. We bought a building just because Nabi was like, man, this will be a dope set to make. This how big, 22,000 square feet. We can turn this into about 18 different sets, Yahki. I think you should go and get the building. We got the building. Now we're getting it built out right now.
So cheap in St. Louis.
Man, you'd be surprised, man.
For real?
St. Louis is way more expensive than Georgia.
You think like buying something in St. Louis is not cheaper than
Atlanta? I got a 64,000 square feet house right now. So I got a bunch of real estate. 60,000. I got a 6,400 square feet house right now in Florissant, Missouri. That deal cost me $700,000. I can take that same $700,000 and go to South Fulton right now and get me 10,000 square feet.
No way. Not today. Not today.
Well, last year.
Maybe.
Last year?
Yeah. Oh, last year.
But shouts out to
but South Fulton, not Atlanta though. That's still kind of.
Man, so I was finna buy the house. That mug said Atlanta on it. You know what I'm saying? It's South Fulton, but it said Atlanta.
Fulton goes. You know, they
expanded this beautiful crib.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But I could have got that with the same thing. Not only that,
I live in Alpharetta and I'm still in Fulton.
Okay.
So this shit stretched through the whole Atlanta. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I'm just saying from sitting down and finna buy the house, I said, dang, I should have just moved to Atlanta. When I was gonna even move here, but I said I can't.
You got a sweet deal, 6,000 square feet.
64.
I paid 1.5. I got 6,400. I paid 1.5.
1.5. For real? Dang. Yep, I paid that. Okay. All right.
Y'all ain't. But still, I'm saying that because you invested. For one, I like the fact that you didn't run to Atlanta just to get a check balance. You stayed.
Yeah.
in Missouri. And
I got a responsibility for my community.
That's dope.
I helped destroy it. Man, I destroyed that mug, so I got to rebuild it. I did a lot of damage there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of violence there. So now I'm there to heal. You know what I'm saying?
Is that Ram Stadium still up?
Yeah, Ram Stadium, Bush Stadium.
What are they using that for now?
I forgot what they did with that. Then you got Bush Stadium now. Of course, you got the Blues hockey team. You got Budweiser beer. A lot of people sleep on St. Louis. We got a lot of old money out there.
I used to go there when I
it's
was
just the old money out there ain't our money.
And the nice stuff is by the art, correct?
I went, man. I mean, it's nice stuff down there, but you go down there, you might not come back with your goods on you. They down there robbing, killing, and stealing.
By the art.
Yeah, by the arch.
I thought that was the
that's the arch. Just downtown.
The tourist attraction spot.
Yeah, man, they be down there robbing all of them. They done rebuilt a lot of that stuff too, though. But man, St. Louis is a beautiful man. Shouts out to the home team, and I ain't never going nowhere. I got properties everywhere. We big into real estate. I buy a lot of shit, but I'm not leaving my home. I'm just not leaving St. Louis.
And then y'all ambassador.
Yeah.
Sexy Red.
That's not our ambassador. Hey Keys, why he keep saying that, man?
Hey, that's y'all ambassador.
He do
right
not
now.
speak for the whole St. Louis, brother.
The ambassador for St. Louis. Yeah.
But man, shouts out to St. Louis, man. That's a very, very ancient and peculiar place. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi, Mississippi, the Missouri River.
I love Biloxi.
Yeah, man. And that's why I'm part of the Mississippian culture. I'm from the Chickasaw Nation tribe. You know, the Mississippi is the real Nile Valley River. So you're like ancient. Once you get into like ancient Illinois and you get to ancient St. Louis, these are your most ancient places in the world. That's why
my folks Geechee, they from South Carolina.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to the Geechee clan. You know what I'm saying? But them are real original Aboriginals. You know what I'm saying? That's really from the Geechee tribes, man. Them are very, very ancient American people. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them spoke ancient Hebrew too. When you really start studying the Golden Geechee.
I did my ancestry test, and I have Native American in me.
Yeah,
I didn't understand why. It was
because
crazy.
that's because you most likely you from here though. Like a lot of people think that we Africans and we not. That's another big illusion. They want you to keep your eyes on Africa and
do you believe Africans also settled in America prior to Christopher Columbus?
I believe
that, they're the first with a boat.
But I don't believe the first original people in Americas was people coming from Africa though. I believe the first indigenous people of Americas was from Americas. I don't think life started only in Africa. I think life started simultaneously everywhere. Like I don't have African ancestry or DNA that trace back there. Like I'm from the Americas. Like I spent $70,000 and traced myself all the way back down. Like I know the zone, the region, and everything I'm from. And we've been here for a long, long time, and we not from Africa. Everything about my bloodline DNA scream Americas. We started in Louisiana. We swamp people, and we literally called the Mississippian culture. We migrated amongst the Mississippi all the way to Illinois, and then we settled in St. Louis, Missouri. And mind you, every part that where we stayed from, there's a pyramid. Every part that my people migrated to, there's a pyramid there too. You got Cahokia Mounds, which have pyramids. You got Memphis that have pyramids. You got the back states of Louisiana have pyramids. So we act like all of these things are just in Africa. All these things are
pyramids in Mexico.
Yeah, pyramids in Mexico. And then we have to remember, there is black faces on every inch of this planet.
It's like a statue in Mexico. You got
big nose, look like us, big lips. Yeah, I mean,
Buddha had
Buddha was definitely a melanated man. Even when you think about the Asians, you know what I'm saying? Look at the real Asians that they push into the mountains, man. They look just like us. So you know, life started. Life started everywhere simultaneously. Everybody's not from Africa, and everybody's not from America.
So talk to me about this. You said something about the service business. Can you talk to me about the benefits financially of the service business? Because you were saying before camera, you were like, you know, you do product-based business.
Yeah, we may do millions off of it too.
Of course.
But it comes with
a headache.
It comes with a big headache because maintaining that beast is just something else. You damn near have to be a beast to maintain the beast. And it's just so stressful being in that type of business, especially dealing with your people, because your people, we have a short attention span. So you order something and you don't realize that I manufacture my own stuff. So like we building everything from the ground up. We ground our own herbs. Some of the herbs now we are wildcrafted. Most of them we do get wildcrafted from different parts of the country. But when it comes to us, we still gotta dry them. We still gotta cut them up, compartmentalize them. All right, is this gonna be capsules? Is this gonna be a tincture? Do I gotta add some grape sugar cane alcohol to it to make an herbal extract? Am I grinding this up and making a powder? Then I have to source all of the bottles and put the bottoms on them, then create my own labels, then make sure that all of them are compliance with OSHA, then pack them up and then ship them off. And then mind you, I have to guarantee the potency because that's what I'm known off of. I became a millionaire off of the potency of my product. So I got to keep that integrity. So if somebody will order and then 3 days later they calling out bill, blowing up the clinic, asking or the warehouse asking where they order it. And since they don't get, I got millions of clients that hit me up daily. We sell millions of products every year. So since we don't get back to them in time enough, they hit a dispute. So since it's a actual physical product, these merchant platforms will automatically guarantee that they get their money, especially if you don't got insurance. Now, this is how they doing it too. If you now have a insurer on your disputes, which is what I'm selling, they've been changing the law since Joe Biden been in office. They changed a lot of laws, so they are not even guaranteeing your money to be backed by insurance if you selling what they will call alternative medicine. So as soon as somebody hit a dispute, they be honoring a lot of them. And it's like, how is y'all honoring it? So, but I noticed and what I started learning is get out of products and move into services. Because you can't dispute a service. Was you there? Yes. What did you order? A lymphatic massage. Did they do the massage? Yes. Did you like it? It don't matter if you liked it or not. Was your services done? Yes. Automatically guaranteed. And you don't have to pay taxes on services. Especially if you got your business in a trust. A non-revocable trust at that. So what I've been learning is to shy away from the products. I love the products. My products are some of the best in the world. You know, they doing a lot of things, but I'm learning to teach people to make their own herbs. That's why now when I teach, what I do now I get them the ingredients. Make your own. It's less headache for me. Make your own. And then I make products for my clientele to come to my clinic. So I got a small group of people who I still really make a lot of the products for, but I'm trying to get out of the product business and get more into the service of things because it's just less headache, it's more money, and you can't do all them disputes and be in the low percentile. It's just some crazy stuff that come with them products.
So and they can also close down your merchant account
if
you get too many disputes and hold your money and
we
all that.
We done had that done before. We done had that done before. We done had them shut down our whole site, especially when the government was after me, man. They was trying to do anything.
What do you mean the government was after you?
First thing that came after was my taxes. They thought I wasn't a tax-paying man. So once I realized that they come for your taxes, see, this is what they do. If they can't, so first they try to lock you up. If they can't lock you up, they try to get you on tax invasion. If they can't get you on tax invasion, they try to get you on some type of scandal with a woman. They can't get you on scandal with a woman because you do too disciplined. They try to call gay allegations. They can't get you on a homosexual allegation. They kill you. Look, they've been running the same playbook since the beginning of time. I said, okay, I'm at the tax bracket. Now they on the tax. They following us around. They taking pictures. They used to pull us over, just do all types of crazy stuff. They still holding about $300,000 of mine? I'm talking about illegally. They hold money illegally for me right now. And it's been about 4 years. Like, where's my money at? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, what they do is they try to get a lot of black men on taxes. So once I realized that and got my tax game together, and I said, okay, to get out of this tax game, okay, you still got to be a law-abiding, paying tax citizen. Start forming trust. These trusts is what they do. When you look at the Rockefeller Trust, the Rothschild Trust, they trust an irrevocable trust that protect them and all of their assets. So you own nothing, but you control everything. What owns all of your assets is your trust. You just control the trust, which control everything. So now if a woman that ain't too fine to me, that I was dealing with and didn't want to take it there, and she felt like I wasted her time, she want to come after me, you can't pull no invocable trust. It's against the law legally for a state judge and a federal judge to pull your trust. It's impenetrable. So now what?
So can you talk to me about that trust and what's the difference between that trust and a regular trust? You said, what's the word?
You got a revocable trust and you have an irrevocable trust. A revocable trust is how you got it set up. You can just change it. Once you do an irrevocable trust, it as is. Like once it's solid, you got it in concrete, it's just in concrete. Then you have a foreign trust too, where you can claim your sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? To do a foreign trust as well. But I've been noticing a lot of the Morris brothers been getting caught up with that. So if y'all don't have nobody to really do that the correct way, I actually speak against don't do it. Because a lot of the Moors and a lot of the 5%ers been getting caught up with that sovereignty stuff. You know what I'm saying? Operating in the private and in the public. So you got to be careful with that too and really know what you're doing. But look, this is our homeland. We have the right to rule here. All of this stuff is ours. We already millionaires and trillionaires. I'm talking about, like, I remember even tapping into bank accounts and everything off my Social Security. And I remember it was 6 accounts in my name. And I called then I called the Federal Reserve. I called the Federal Reserve Bank. I'm like, why do I got an account with $6 million in it that I've never opened myself? How did you get access to your account? That's when they really started messing with us. That's not the question. Why do I got an account with $6 million? Why do I got a bank account with a Bank of America account with $20 million in it, and I never had a Bank of America account? Who the hell is using the money? Then you start tracking down your social security number, putting a 0 in front of it, which makes it a 10-digit bank account number. Then you look at your birth certificate number, which is your routing number. So now you're like, hold on, I got a bank with all this money. And then you start realizing what social security is. And then basically you working for free, and then they're paying you little bitty percentages or fractions out of the account that you already had all this money built in, because you're a natural born law-abiding citizen of the creator and not of man. So it's different types of tiers you operate on. You can operate as an indigenous in the private, as your natural born body self, or you can operate as a corporation, which is the name your mother and father gave you right before they sold you over and got a social security number, and then sold your soul by taking the sole of your feet, putting it under some stamps, and then putting it on top of the birth certificate and selling you over to the corporation that we call the United States of America, which is not a country, it's a business, it's a corporation and an agency.
I've been telling people that, like, you know, even with this whole presidential election, I'm like, man, does it really matter who wins or this and that? Like, do you actually believe the votes count?
No, everything is preordained and pre-selected. We talking about a people that deals with ancient bloodlines. I know a lot of people don't believe in spookism, but we talking about ancient reptilians, ancient Phoenicians. We talking about some old bloodline people, man. They've been playing this game forever. Man, Key said the most powerful thing in the video that I watched, and I always talk to him about it. He was talking about how Romans and Greeks and them.
Who was Keys?
19 Keys. Okay, yeah, my brother, 19 Keys. But he was talking about, yeah, my bad, 19. Yeah, but he was talking about how they have babies. They are literally, they sit back and create children for the future 100 years from now. I'm finna have a baby right now, and this baby gonna be president in 100 years. Knowing he ain't gonna never see the 100 years, but he's focused on 100 years from now. So if I'm focusing on having babies right now to be in the president's office, I'm focused on having babies right now that's gonna be a judge in 20 years in this certain section. That means that the game and the books and the plays is already written. Shit is already written. So if it's already written and we can't control that side of it, then what can we control? The money part, because we the biggest consumers. Like if we all just stop spending money look, Killer Mike did this dope ass documentary on Netflix, and it was called Buy Black, where he spent a whole 24 hours, and his whole point is to buy from black people, not spend his dollar with anybody outside of his species. And he showed how difficult it was. That showed you how much of a lock they got on this.
I saw that.
But I just seen The Cure yesterday at InvestFest. I said, this the cure right here. 30,000 people, 98% of them melanated beings. Out of that 98%, 70% of them are 100,000ers. Out of that 70%, 50 of them are millionaires. This is the solution. Spend money with your people. Spend money with yourself. Let that dollar circulate. And then eventually get rid of the dollar and come up with your own economy. Because the dollar ain't even backed by nothing. It's a green piece of paper with dead presidents or slave masters on it. That's not even backed by gold anymore.
You know what I think too is a great solution is institutions vertically integrated. Like
say that again, brother.
Our own schools, hospitals, grocery stores, farmers, you know. And
talking about culture. Every culture come with a language. Every culture come with a landmass. Every culture come with a food source. Right. When you think about Ethiopia, you think about what? Ethiopian food. I can describe it to you right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I just went to an Indian market in Georgia. Indian food. Yeah. And they Indian suppliers, Indian workers. Exactly. I get my fruits and vegetables from an Indian market up north in Alpharetta.
And guess where they go to though? They go to Indian dentists. They go to Indian doctors. You see that? They go to a hotel right now, they're going to go to their brother, because they own most of the hotels in America. They're going to go to an Indian hotel. So everybody have their culture and connect. And when you think about a culture is how your people comply to one another. How they comply to one another, how they do business with one another. That's really a culture. Like we was talking about InvestFest, a culture is solving the needs of a people, or meeting the needs of a people. Everybody's meeting their own needs and expanding their consciousness and expanding their awareness through this reality but us. And that's because we lost our culture. A culture come with a land. We lost our land. A culture come with a language. We lost our language. A culture come with a god. A lot of us are serving many different gods. A culture come with a food. Every culture have their own stamp food. Every culture have an animal too. Every culture have their own animal.
What's black animal?
There's just no such thing as a black race. You get into Ethiopia, their animal is the lion.
Animal.
There's no such thing as Africa. Africa came from Africanus Vespucci, Leonardo's even the word Africa don't even come from Africa. Africans don't call it Africa.
What do they call it?
And they call it they call it many different things. They call it many different. They don't call it Africa.
Who is Africanus?
Africanus is a white man, a white conquistador. He was a conqueror.
That's where it came from.
America's was too. When you start looking at these names, you got to remember what the European do. They go everywhere, they conquer something, and they put their name on it. That's why most of your diseases is named after their Greek god. The Achilles heel, it's a Greek god. The tendon, that's a hydropressure. That's a god of water. Even when you get into the physiology and anatomy of your body in your diseases, all of this is named after mythology. It's myths named after they gods. We serving they gods and don't even know it. The moment you claim a disease and you say you have the disease, they got you. They done bought your soul. Because you done bought into their whole culture of their god.
So you don't believe in zodiacs either?
No, I definitely believe in zodiacs, but zodiacs don't come from European nations.
Say that's not Greek mythology?
No, man. Zodiac starts way before Greek mythology. Zodiac's been here since the beginning of times. You know what I'm saying? They've been counting the stars and using the stars as a map and to map out physiology and basically see their destinies since the beginning of times. You know what I'm saying? Star counting is an ancient religion. I mean, an ancient way of practicing, and it's actually mathematics too. So the Greeks learned everything from the Africans, and then they just perverted it, burnt all their books, went to Alexandria, burnt all their shit up. You know how they do. They learn the knowledge from the great black ones, the melanated ones. They burn everything, and then they put a spin on it, put their God behind it, then they push it out. And then the moment that you come into the foreknowledge of it, you say, I learned that from the white man. Well, where did the white man learn his from?
So with the zodiacs, you don't believe in the Leo, the Aries?
Yes, they're different names.
Different names.
They're different names.
And
Just
you
like
have those names for each
just
one.
like all different. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Hebrew, so we'll say Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Galet. You know what I'm saying? Why? So Zion, Ket, Chet, Wav, Tov. So we'll say stuff like that. But it's still the same thing. All religions is the same thing too. It's all talking about coming from your lower nature, killing the flesh, and basically shooting or elevating to the Keter chakra. Same thing as the whole walk of Christ. That is actually a physiological act that happens in the body. You start from the root, bones and skulls, and then you rise to the 30-degree vertebrae. At the 30-degree vertebrae, you get crucified. This Christos, or this anointed oil, goes into the cerebral cortex, and then it spreads out at night all four of your brains, and then you have something called 12 melanated clusters that is awakened. So they call it the 12 cranial nerves. These are called the 12 disciples. So even when you look at Christ, it's talking about us, our bodies, we or God experiencing itself in human form. So everything go back to you and I.
So I got one last question, and this is the last question I would ask. What advice would you give young black women and men? You know what I'm saying? Like if you had to give them one closing statement and give them just some head-on advice for them, the ones who graduating now, the ones who about to become men and women, what would you give them on both sides?
That's a deep question.
What would you tell your daughter and son when they're about to become an adult?
The first thing I make sure is they know who they are. Know who you are. Know your identity. Know your culture. Know your inheritance. Know your ancient languages. Know what, if it was a religion, what religion they followed, and tap into that, because everybody needs identity before they go out into this world. Otherwise, they're going to take on the identity of their oppressor. So know who you are and then dive deep into it. Secondly is with that culture, you have a responsibility now to advance that culture and fix any problems that's within that culture. So if the problem is police brutality, then you need to be figuring out a way to become a police officer within your own community to stop it. If it's disease or what they say disease is, then you need to be going to school to be a surgeon and a doctor, because we realize that black people die under the knife due to European hands all the time. If you know the problem is starvation and food, and basically acid forming foods, we need to talk about permaculture, electroculture, and agriculture. Let me put a child in that different situation for they know how to grow their own food. So it'll be to learn, you know what it'll be? Once you figure out who you is, learn a trade, and with that trade, use that trade to solve problems within your community and culture. That's how we get ourselves back, brother. And that's how we keep the dollar circulating. And that's what makes us wealthy. I used to put money in so many things, brother. Millions into bullshit. I didn't start holding on to millions and really making millions until I started investing in myself and in my community.
For certain. Well, it's your boy Aristotle. We done with this episode with Out the Mud. Yahki Awakening. Y'all know what it is, man. Out the mud. Let's get it. Here's why you need to get this ebook right now. It is the best stock market ebook on the market. And to cater to you guys' short attention spans, everything I can't say on one page, I say in the video. So all you gotta do is click watch video, and it'll go straight to a video. What's going on, Mythbusters? Okay. Let's get this thing started. Let's get this thing you'll see that I'm talking about a lot. Is something we're always going to be doing in day trading, especially. Facebook users, click the link. Instagram users, you can simply comment the word book on any of my posts or under this post to get the link sent to your DM for the book. It is $24. It will literally teach you from A to Z how to get started. Let's get it.